it's Angela Kim from thesquishymonster.com, and me and Diana from SweetySalado are talking about strawberries today. She is making some adorable and delicious chocolate-covered strawberries. And we're whipping up some light, airy, fluffy, and completely delicious strawberries and cream cupcakes. This recipe calls for cake flour and with spelt, rice, all-purpose, and wheat flour that I have on deck already. Cake flour seems like an additional thing that I don't use too often, so I decided to make my own. So per every half cup of all-purpose flour, you want to take out a tablespoon of it and then replace it with some cornstarch. So I'm just going to sift those two together. So the bright white powder is, the downier powder is the cornstarch, and then that beigey kind of color underneath is the all-purpose flour, and I'm going to sift this together. The trick is to do it 3 or 4 times so everything is really nicely aerated and combined together. Next, I want to add in my leavener, which is my baking powder, and my fine salt, which I like to bake with, and you want to sift that through as well. And then you want to get a whisk and whisk it all together so everything is combined. The whipped egg whites in here are really what's going to help this cake be light and fluffy. And so I separated them when they were cold, which is easier to do, and then you want to whip them up when they're at room temperature and it'll rise higher and be fluffier. And when it starts getting frothy, I'm going to sprinkle in my cream of tartar, and that'll help stabilize the protein structure of the eggs. So you want firm peaks, and you want your stand mixer if you have one to do all the work for you, or you could do this by hand. You're looking for stiff, not soft peaks, so when you lift up your beater, the little edges stand erect like that. So that's what you're looking for. Any more and you'll revert it back to a liquid form. Next, I want to concentrate on my wet bowl number 1. So you want to take your unsalted room temperature butter that's been softened now, and you want to cream it together with your sugar. Your creaming is sufficient when it's light, fluffy, and pale yellow like that. You can also achieve this with a spatula. You can just smash it down and kind of work it together. And I do this for about 3 to 5 minutes. So this is ready, and I want to switch it over to the side and focus on my next ingredients that are going in. I'm going to tip in some vanilla, some really good quality homemade vanilla actually, and I'm going to smash together my strawberries. So make sure you get really sweet and ripe strawberries, and that's going to impart that pink strawberry flavor and color. Now my strawberries and my vanilla are ready to be slipped in, and if you're feeling particularly lazy, you can do this with a food processor, and I left mine pretty chunky, all the better. Just slip that right in there, and if you're feeling even lazier, you can actually just use a strawberry jam with the same measurements or preserves, and as always, the ingredients are listed below and is at thesquishymonster.com as well. Next, we have to add in our dry ingredients and our milk. And I have some whole milk that's at room temperature. You can also use buttermilk or any milk substitution that you'd like. Almond would be really nice in this. And this is the cake flour that we made with the cornstarch, all-purpose flour, baking powder, and the salt. And the trick here is to make sure you alternate with the dry and the wet, but always end with the dry. So I'm gonna begin and end with my dry. Just sprinkle in a little bit of my dry at a time. I like to do this in thirds and give it a help out with my spatula. Next in goes a little bit of my milk. And give that a mix as well. Just make sure you're just mixing to combine, because over mixing will create a dense cake, and you want this to be light and fluffy. And then a little bit of my dry. Finally, we can add in a little bit of our whipped up egg whites, a little bit at a time, and you want to fold it in. So start from the center and work your way out. Just curve your spatula like this. And in the beginning, you can be a little rougher if you would like. Just make sure you use a light hand as you finish it off. My oven is preheating, and I'm just scooping my prepared batter into my lined pan. And this consistency is so light and fluffy. I just love this recipe, and this is actually my go-to strawberry cake recipe because it makes for such a light crumb, really fluffy, not too sweet, and that flavor of the strawberry just blooms through organically. It is just so wonderful. I love whipped cream frostings, but the problem with that is that it can get runny and it can get really loose. The solution is to stabilize it. And in order to do that, I have some cold filtered water that I'm going to stir together with some gelatin. And I want to stir that and let it sit for a few moments, and then I'm going to put it over some heat until gentle heat until it dissolves. Though egg whites beat best at room temperature, the opposite is true for heavy cream. So you want to put in cold cream, and the cold beater in the cold bowl will help whip it up really nice, tall, and fluffy. And you want to whip this up to soft peaks, and then I'll add in my sugar. When your cream begins to thicken, you can add in the rest of your ingredients. I have my cooled gelatin mixture, and then this is optional, but I just ran a strawberry or two down a sieve, a fine mesh sieve, just to extract some of its pink strawberry juice. Totally optional. And then some sifted powdered sugar. And you can beat that until it gets really nice and voluminous in the consistency that you desire. Now we can build our frosting on. I just have a piping bag fitted with a closed star tip, and we can build our fluffy mound of pillowy homemade whipped cream topping on top and garnish with a strawberry. And how adorable is that? Look at how adorable these are. And actually, if you wanted to take one of Diana's chocolate covered strawberries and garnish it on top, that would make it over the top cute. So let's see how it tastes. You get a blooming flavor of strawberries on your tongue because you know we used fresh strawberries. It is so light, that crumb is so fluffy and airy, and then that whipped topping is so delicious to top it all off. It's not too heavy, and it's a great change of pace from buttercreams. I so hope you guys give this a try. Tell Diana from SweetySalado I said hello, and happy Valentine's Day, guys. Bye.